Okay, so let's look at the problem we have here because I think it's a little tricky. The problem we have is dealing with probability, and the order that it specifies it in is actually very critical. So it's saying a box is selected at random from which a crayon is randomly drawn. So as we solve this, just keep that in mind. First, you're selecting a box, and then you're selecting a crayon from that box. And that order is important. Let me just turn on my screen share and we'll get started. Okay. So we have two boxes. Let me just call them B1 and B2. And in B1, we have 2 red, we have 3 blue, and we have 4 yellow. And in B2, we have 1 red, 2 blue, and 3 yellow. So when we do the action of choosing a box, that's our first action because we can't choose a crayon before we choose a box. So we're here and we have 2 choices. One is box 1, one is box 2. And if you think about it, it says you're choosing a box at random. You have 2 choices. Each one of these is going to be 50% or 0.5 probability. Okay? And then once you choose a box, for B1, you have 9 different options here. You have 2 different red crayons you could get, you have 3 different blue, and you have 4 different yellow. And for B2, you have 1 red, 2 blue, and 3 yellow. So when it's asking you, so for part A, when it's asking you what's the probability that you get a yellow crayon from box 1, you got to think about it like this. You're taking your first choice and then you're doing a second choice on top of that. So at the end here, we're going to have a bunch of probabilities for every single possible option for every crayon that we could get, and all these probabilities is going to add up to 1. But for this specific case, we're looking at what's the probability that we get box 1? Well, that's 0.5. And then we're multiplying that by, now that we're in box 1, what's the probability that we get a yellow crayon? And that is going to be 4 divided by the number of crayons we have in box 1, which is 9. So, I mean, you could write 0.5 out as 1/2, but I can let you do that. So that's going to give us our probability given the information that we have. Now for part B, it's asking what's the probability of drawing a red crayon. So that's slightly different. It's not asking us about a box, it's just asking us about a crayon. And we know that there are different ways we could get a red crayon. We could get it from box 1, or we could get it from box 2. If we get it from box 1, that means that we chose box 1, which is a 0.5 probability, and then we got a crayon from it, a red crayon from it. And the probability of that is 2/9, because we have 2 red crayons and 9 total in box 1. But that's not the only way that we can get a red crayon. We could also get it from box 2. And the probability that we get box 2 is again 0.5. And then once we're in box 2, it's the number of red crayons divided by the total, or 1/6. And if you simplify that, that will give you the probability of getting a red crayon at all. So I hope that clears things up. I can stop sharing this now. So I hope that clears things up. If you have any other questions, just leave a comment and I'll try to help out.